All right, so what's the significance of Jericho and Grant having to go to the bathroom at Blake Turpin's house? This is 2 weeks before the murder. And what the prosecution theory is that the gun that Blake had in his closet, in his bedroom, which Grant had access to that night, was stolen. Now, what you have to remember is that Blake Turpin does not report it stolen until 30 days before this trial, okay? 30 days before this trial, he reports it stolen, tells police that he hasn't used the gun in about a year. So when was it stolen? No one knows for sure, but the first time that police are told and it's reported stolen is 30 days before this trial, and the testimony in front of this jury is that Grant Amato had an opportunity to steal it and had fired the gun previously when they had all gone to the shooting range. How significant is that? Let me bring back in my think tank, and we've got a new member tonight. Tiffany Porter, criminal defense attorney, joins our think tank, so I'm going to throw her right into the fire here. Tiffany? How big is this? Is this the murder weapon? Will the jury believe that this could be the murder weapon, even though it's never been recovered?
Well, the problem is, the question is why 30 days? Why didn't he report it stolen sooner? It just doesn't make any sense.
Like after his friend got arrested for shooting his own parents.
Right.
Yeah, but that was like in January.
Yeah.
This is now reported stolen in June.
Right, so it doesn't make sense for this to come up now. I don't think that it helps the prosecution.
All right.
Doesn't help them.
Will the jury buy it?
Yeah, I disagree. I think it helps the prosecution if they don't like this guy, if they think he's probably a murderer, but we don't have any idea how he could have possibly done this. They answer that question. It checks that box. If the jury is saying, well, we can't convict unless we have some idea how he would have gotten a murder weapon, yeah, that does it. On its own, there's no way that proves that he killed his parents and his sibling. There's no way that proves that he actually took the gun. But if you can't find a way for him to get a gun, you can't convict. Now they found a way. It answers that little question.
Yeah, I feel like it's the prosecutors coming up with their theatrical version of the story that they were going to tell, and they kind of went back and needed to have an opportunity for Grant to actually get a gun. And so this kind of fit into when they were probably preparing for their case, creating their narrative, and needing to come up with a story for people who are already ready to convict him.
It was a gift to them, right?
Yeah, it's a gift to them, but it does seem a little bit, disingenuous, I would say. Like, it could be a possibility, but why is his friend all of a sudden...
Right.
Tiffany's
and
right.
it adds more to reasonable doubt. To me, I think it...
You think it's a reasonable doubt? Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask
That's the best we
Kelvin.
can do.
Kelvin, you're at the courthouse down there. Your thoughts, is this too much of a stretch for prosecutors to argue, or is there enough there that he had an opportunity to steal a weapon that is consistent, potentially, with the murder weapon here, which has never been found?
Murder weapon, very, very important for a murder case, obviously. They don't have one. So the next best thing is to say, okay, this is probably what was used. This was probably the murder weapon. Very, very powerful evidence. It's almost controversial, though, as to whether it should have been admitted. And I don't know whether the judge has decided on
Yeah,
that
there
yet.
were arguments, Kelvin. There were absolutely arguments, and the judge said, hey, doesn't go to admissibility, goes to weight. As you're speaking, though, Kelvin, I know Tiffany's head is just shaking all over the place. What's going on?
Because probably doesn't get it. Probably does not get a conviction. And I think there's just too many holes in this. And this is another one. He probably got the gun. While the other person was going to the bathroom doing something more
substantial,
then maybe he got it then. There's just
There's no evidence
many lingering things that I would not convict him on that. And I do not think it helps their story at all.
You're going to look at facts, you're going to look at emotions. If you're looking at facts, there's no facts there. The facts are not enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. But likability, motive, you put all the stuff in the mixer, and maybe it shoots out a guilty verdict.
Here's the question I have for you. Was it a good choice by prosecutors to bring up this piece of evidence? Because I know an attorney like Tiffany and this defense team is going to attack it and make it look like they're reaching up here. And you don't reach for a murder conviction, you prove murder.
I think it really just depends on where you're already at as a juror. I know they're not supposed to be making decisions yet, but I feel like if they want to look at the prosecutors and kind of say, like, you guys shouldn't have brought this in if you actually didn't know it, it doesn't seem like it's really based on truth. I guess that's a reason to maybe disbelieve other things that they're arguing to you, but I do think it's not a make or break piece of evidence.
Yeah, Kelvin, go ahead. I